Hi, everyone. I'm Lilit. I'm one of the co-founders of Data Point Armenia. It's a nonprofit organization that is striving to become a resourceful path for all data scientists in Armenia or aspiring data scientists in Armenia. And we're hosting this panel with various stakeholders of data science in Armenia to try to democratize information about becoming a data scientist in Armenia, bring out challenges that a data scientist faces, and offer solutions coming from all established organizations and universities in Armenia. Speaking of our stakeholders, we tried to make a very diverse group here. We have Habet Madoyan, who is the chair of the data science program at American University of Armenia. We have Anush Ayvazian, who is the head of educational programs at FAST. We have Alisa Davtyan, who is an aspiring data scientist and who is working already in the field of data science. She is a teaching assistant at American University of Armenia, and she is doing data science research. And we have Narine, who is a data scientist at Plat AI. She's going to represent the industry and help us understand better how it is to work as a data scientist and to hire a data scientist so you can get all the information you need today. I'm going to give you all the microphone and so you can introduce yourselves.
Didn't you already introduce us?
Yes, actually, I will ask you a question. I'll speak with this. I would like you to introduce yourself, your story a little bit, and I would like to know your philosophy when building the Department of Data Science here at AUA. So, what did you consider when building this, the first ever data science education, higher education in Armenia?
Well, philosophy is a kind of romantic word that you use. Like, what's the philosophy? You're trying to work within a bureaucratic system. You're trying to work within the current supply and demand system, right? So let's say there is a great idea of the course that you want your program to have. And your philosophy says that you need to have this course, right? But before having this course, you need to go and find someone who can actually teach it, right? Or if you want to do some changes in the curriculum of the program, then you need to wait. I mean, fundamental changes, right? You need to wait for 5 years. So there will be a time when the program will do the self-study, will invite the collaborators from industry, from other academic institutions that will get together and try to understand what are the strengths and weaknesses of the program. When we're talking about the philosophy and the vision, I'll not talk about that because my job is mostly day-to-day and everyday management of the program. Right, I can say that I have the vision to create the best data science program in the world or in Armenia, whatever. But our problems are mostly problems that we need to solve, like every day, day after day.
Anush?
The same question.
Actually, I have another question for you. So, the program that you are doing with FAST is mainly targeting high school programs teaching AI. I'm wondering why not universities, and why not research institutions, and why specifically high school. Um,
Thank you for questions. First of all, I would like to let you know that FAST's mission is to build an science ecosystem in Armenia. So we are looking through the programs, through the lenses of the science and research. During these 5 years, we encountered very much to the problem that there are not enough resources, human resources, qualified specialists to get involved in the research. And one of the key main big issues is the education. So that is coming from high school up to PhD level. Our concentration is AI, and currently we are developing the pipeline of AI researchers and innovators. It starts from the school level, but it doesn't end here. It's going to be BA, MA, and PhD as well. Currently, we are working to develop the prerequisite knowledge in public high schools, especially in math, because we see that a lot of students do not have access to qualified education. It is centralized in several private schools, especially located in Yerevan. But if you look at the nationwide level, you see that there are a lot of talents who can, if you nurture them, they can thrive a lot and go into this direction. But the quality education is not accessible to all of them. So we concentrate on high school because it is one of the main issues why university programs do not work as well.
I'm going to go deeper into those later on. Just need a quick introduction from Alisa. Actually, Alisa was one of the K-Mines last year. I'm seeing others in here in the audience. But essentially, K-Mines was a program which had a data point where we saw a problem where companies needed data scientists, but they weren't finding it sustainable to hire new graduates. And our question was then, if you graduate college, how are you going to get a job if no one's hiring you? And Alisa was one of our alumni. She was one of the people who were chosen out of a group of around 100 applicants. And she graduated amazingly, the program. So I kind of want to know your experience, what you do now, because you do a lot.
Thanks a lot. It's so great to see you all here. The truth is, I'm really doing a lot, and currently, more than like 2 years, I work here in American University of Armenia as a teaching associate, which is like huge opportunity for me to meet every day, like inspiring data scientists, inspiring programists who work who try to everything to learn every day. Currently, I'm involved in research program. I'm associate data science researcher in Physiology Institute. It's more focused on bioengineering, biophysics, but it's very, very interesting because you work with data and you work with data quality, you work with the modeling, and as a result, result will be like some interesting paper. The truth is, I come from mathematics. I have a mathematical education, and I joined DataPoint Armenia as someone who is passionate to start data science career. And the truth is, it's pretty challenging, but yet very exciting journey. And I think all the data scientists should have like the mindset of being lifelong learners, because probably one of there are many scary things in people like me who wants to start a career in data science, because industry changes very, very fast. There are like very, very severe competition, and there are many like talented students, like professionals who already work as like junior data scientists. So there are many scary things, but I'm kind of trying to overcome them by having someone to look up to, probably.
Okay, so Nadine works at Plat AI, as I said, and I really want to know what the life of data scientist looks like in Armenia, and in general, what do you usually work on? Because data science could be data engineering, it could be working with analytics or business analytics or doing more ML work. I wonder what it's like for you, and I wonder what your company or the industry trend is in Armenia.
Thanks a lot for inviting us today. I'm data scientist in Plat AI, as Lilith mentioned, since 2020, and Plat was founded in 2020. I want to introduce a little bit Plat AI. Yeah, Plat AI provides AI services to businesses, both in US and in Armenia, and mostly we were providing financial institutions AI driven solutions, but we are not limited to financial institutions, for example, banks or insurances. Yeah, and we want to broaden our space of activity. Um, the difference when we look now and 3 years ago, the requirement for companies, for our company, was changed for data scientists. Yeah, because the problems are changing and the competition between companies also became higher. So we need more professional data scientists in our company. What we do in our daily life is, first of all, besides professional skills, technical or analytical, theoretical skills, we need people who communicative, collaborative, and they want to share their knowledge because it's very important. And I want to mention also the interpretation of the results is very important, because you can do the job, you can get good results, but you need to interpret the results to business side or other workers to share your knowledge. So it is also very important. Um, also, data cleaning part is everyday challenge for data scientists. Yeah, because we spend most of the time for data cleaning and understanding the business problem, identifying the problem. So after that, creating different models, approaches, and trying to make that model in production level. So this is the overall cycle data scientist faces.
I actually was going to start by asking a question to Alisa, but I'm going to change it. Alisa's happy because you kind of went into a topic that I want to get into. You talked about what you actually need as from a data scientist, and it's not just the technical. I'm going to go very deep into this. Let's say you are hiring for a data scientist in your company. I actually want to know if there are any data scientists or anyone who wants to become a data scientist here. Can you raise a hand? Okay, great. I hope this is helpful. But let's say all of these people who raised their hand have their resumes ready and they applied to Plat AI to be a junior data scientist or data scientist. What do you usually look for in a resume? What have you seen that you liked so far when you were hiring before or when you were looking for candidates? What did you not like? And what you wish you saw that you didn't see?
Actually, we definitely look the background of the applicant. It's very important, and for example, mathematical background is very important as well. It will be great if the applicant also provide us projects that he or she had done before. Yeah, for example, GitHub projects or I don't know. And I want to mention also something that it's very important that applicant provide, for example, one or two projects that he went deep inside and fundamentally understand what the project was about and algorithm was about. Then, for example, be familiar with various types of I don't know, problems, but not deeply. So yeah, I would advise that they showed the fundamental insights.
I was going to ask, I don't need the mic, it's okay. But let's say it's Python, SQL, in the tool section, what do you look for when you're looking at their toolkit?
Yeah, Python, of course. It would be great than SQL, yeah. Um, Different algorithm of ML, and it will be great that in deep learning side also were experienced. Yeah. Um, so what could be disadvantage during the interview? I think it's very important that applicant or candidate uh, behave honestly to I mean if you don't know that part, you would be better that you say you don't know than try to go over and over and try to convince that you are okay in that side. Yeah, it's very important. um, and not become aggressive or counterattacks if you don't know something, because all of these are talking about the future collaboration, and you can behave negatively when thing comes to teamwork. Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about interviews too. Is that was going to be kind of my next question, but now I'm wondering. Let's say somebody joined your company. What are things you've noticed that are lacking in the new data scientist who joins, and what you wish they had before they even joined the company in a way?
um, I think that technical and theoretical, it is hard to have both in high level for students, because courses or universities, most of them, yeah, I don't want to expand all of them, provide either practical or theoretical. For example, no, I don't want to bring examples. uh, but yeah, these two parts should be in high level. Both of them. Yeah, both of them.
Okay, I got to see what your how you hire essentially. I want to go to Alisa now. I just wanted to get a better idea of really how hiring works or what you expect from a data scientist. So now, so Alisa, I personally know Alisa and her data science skills, and I would say she should easily be able to either get an ML internship at a top company in the if she were in the US, or get a data science internship easily, or become a data scientist. I would say that. But I want to for Alisa to elaborate more what it's like doing it here. What are your challenges, and be very honest, and what are things you wish existed that currently don't exist, because we can maybe think about them and bring it into solution in organizations that currently exist.
Yeah, but I'm gonna answer a little bit longer, so I'm gonna hold the microphone a little bit longer. So probably I do have it's under the sum that knowledge and education is the must, and if you have like a strong foundation of mathematics, statistics, probably some computer skills, it's definitely going to be very, very beneficial. But I do have a feeling, and I agree with Mirna, that practical experience is the where real learning starts. And I'm not talking about doing every day your like homeworks, your tasks. Probably working on like real projects, working with like real, not clean, very dirty data, and having no idea what's going on between these features. It's real challenge, and probably it's kind of the first barrier that you face. And sometimes you think, oh, maybe this is data science. Should I continue, or should I wait that someone will give me like clean a CSV file and I download it, and when I will like implement some models? Probably I had a feeling that having a strong portfolio before entering industry market is very beneficial. And by saying strong portfolio, I mean having done projects like Narina said, and mostly I worked like on open source. Kaggle provides many competitions, and I really enjoyed working like even in online community. But I really I really love the sense of competing with someone. So not like in a bad way, because when you see someone who is doing like better, for example, for like technical side, you want to try to work a little bit more, or you see someone knowing some algorithm that you never even heard, but so it's kind of additional stimulus to read about that and kind of enlarge your knowledge. Like I said, like for me, data science is lifelong learning. And one thing that I find a little bit intimidating and very scary, but industry changes very, very fast. And sometimes I have the feeling that some skills that I spend energy and time gonna be like outdated, like in 3 or 4 months. For example, I learned doing like OOP or like very, very technical side, but now we have many AI platforms that can do like in like 5 minutes. So that part is a little bit intimidating and a little bit scary, but probably having someone. Also, the one thing that would be very helpful for me to have someone from industry, like Narina, someone from market to tell me, like, you don't need to spend that much time on object-oriented programming. You need to spend more time on learning, for example, deep learning models, because that's more useful. For example, in our company, we automate everything, so it will be better if you learn more about theoretical side. And in general, having like career development session, or having someone, it can be your peer like students or senior student or someone from industry, even some lecturer, or but travel the same path that you are kind of entering. Having their advice, it will be very beneficial. And the one thing that I really wished I learned before, how to turn my knowledge to the value, because in my journey I really like of it, probably advice or example, like to have people in my network. I have many like students like me who want to just enter the market, and we all face the same problems, we all have the same questions, but having someone to not teach me but show me, like tell me some kind of tricks or things how to turn like the knowledge, because we have many very university programs with very high quality, and our education system, in my opinion, is very, very high quality. And but one thing that is gap for me, how to turn that knowledge to the value. But saying value, I don't mean like a job. It can be like research paper. It can be anything that is valuable.
Output.
Yeah, any output. So yeah, but at least it's very, very long. So, but the main things is like fast changing skills, and you need to kind of adapt to the market. And probably now, probably some of us probably even don't even know what's going on in the market, because your lecturers are awesome, but they are like awesome professionals, but they come from academia, and sometimes I had a feeling that they themselves don't know what's going on in the industry. So yeah, that's kind of like the main challenges that it will be like now I would like to mention.
By the way, anyone who wants to take over after she makes a comment and you want to comment over it, go for it. I have a few questions that I'm going to dig into the career development part. Is it available? Is it not available? Where can we get that? Anush, I wanted to ask, since you are trying to develop the AI curriculum in high schools, I have a feeling you also have a very good understanding of what the industry is going to be like. I mean, there's a reason why you're doing AI in high schools right now. There's a big kind of prediction you're doing for the future. What do you think the future is going to be like for a data scientist? What should people here focus on in their skill set or their knowledge?
Just to notice that we are not working for the industry, we are working for the science. So those who go to the industry, it is a spillover effect, but we want to nurture the scientists or the researchers. There is no strict answer. Nobody knows what's going to be the future of AI or data science or related fields. Every day it's going and developing. And I heard a lot of emphasis from my colleague what you are looking for as a data science and what you should learn. And it is not just, for example, Python or other languages. It should be something more, it's computational thinking, because also the tools are getting to change very quickly. The other things is mathematics, and with an emphasis on statistics that is starting from the high school up to different levels of education. Also, the professional guidance you mentioned, yes, it's very important. And in our program, we have different kinds of components, like we have the students that mentoring the high school students, we have the small internship at schools, and also besides the educational programs we are implementing at FAST, we also have research related projects, and it is another trajectory for data scientists that can be involved and create that value or output that my colleague mentioned. So currently we opened several big projects with an international PIs who is leading, and if you are BA students, you can get involved as interns into these research projects. If you are MA or PhD students, you can become researchers for these projects and be led by good professionals who work in international labs, so it can be another opportunity for all of you.
I was also going to say, I think research in the US is very emphasized. And if you're a data scientist, there's always this kind of people definitely look at research and say, okay, this is impressive. We definitely need to get this person in our industry. So definitely, if there's a research opportunity open, I would say if you can do research, then I think you have the brain to learn the more soft skills required to go into the industry if that's what you want to do. How about? I guess it's more going to go into education. So a little bit of data I'm going to give. As I said, Alisa was a K-Mines alumni. K-Mines is a program that essentially helps data scientists upskill their levels by not only learning curriculum, but also getting career development by professionals from all over the world who are doing data science or in a relevant field. And they also get a project experience. Plat AI is one of our partners this year. They gave a project for our participants to work on, raw data, completely from scratch. Now, the thing is, we received around 200 resumes for the past 2 years, and a lot of them have went through or are students at AUA or in some other university, Yerevan State University. They have some type of supplementary project that they've done. They all have some type of project from AUA, by the way, on their resumes. And they have some type of course they've taken at ACA or something supplementary that they've done. And they still cannot get a job as data scientists. I would like to get your take on why that's the case and how could that be resolved in the future? And again, no blame to education, but is there something that could be supplementary added to that?
First of all, I want to say something about the data scientist, right, and the work that the data scientist does. Now, data scientist wakes up at 7:30, takes a shower, goes to work at 9 a.m. Around 6 or 7, he's done. He goes, sees his friends, and then goes home, goes to bed early in the morning, next day, 7:30. He wakes up. Now, if you compare this work routine with the computer scientist, with the marketing manager, with the sales department head, with the lawyer, with the doctor, you will see that most probably there is no big difference, right? So let's not make out of data scientists like heroes of 21st centuries or someone that's going to change. It's just a profession, right? Some people are doing sales, someone is doing computer science, someone is doing programming, we are doing data science. I mean, we need to earn for a living, right? Now, and going back about like industry and education connection and what education is giving to industry and so on. There is one thing that I have seen here as well, and I've seen it all over Armenia, that when companies are hiring someone from university, just a graduate, right, someone who is junior, they never pay attention to the students, to the applicant's GPA, the grades that he got from university. I mean, GitHub projects, that's fine. I mean, I can do it if anyone can do it, given infinite number, infinite time, and resources. But what I would suggest for all of you who are currently students or who are going to hire in the future someone on a junior level, to pay very much attention to the GPA of the student, right? What is GPA? It's basically the grades that you are getting from the university. Now, what the GPA shows, and GPA is a good indicator of how this person is going to do as a junior level specialist. Now, when a company is hiring a junior level specialist, the company is not expecting from the specialist to take a leadership role, to be creative, to invent something new, or to fly to the moon, right? What the company is expecting from them is that, you are given a task, this is how you need to solve it, and please solve this task by Monday morning. Now, and the best indicator if the person can do it is his GPA. Why? Because, like, let's be honest, right? We all love our jobs, but most probably 60 or 70% of the time that we are spending in our work is the time that we spend on the things we hate, right? I mean, being in meetings we don't want to be there, in replying to emails that we don't want to reply, and so on. But our success is determined by our ability to do the tasks that we don't want to do. You know what I mean? Right? That's what the GPA is actually showing, right? I mean, yeah, let's be straight, right? Let's be honest. I mean, and also high GPA of the student shows that the student can confirm, right? What this means is that, let's say you hired someone on a junior level, now you're giving him a task, and this person comes back to you and he tells you that, I think this task is wrong, and I think that this needs to be solved using some other technique, so I don't want to work on this task. This is boring. This is not interesting. Oh, come on, you're a junior person. You're given the task. Please solve it by Monday. Now, and this is what the GPA is showing. A student is given a task, doing a homework, being ready for the final exam, submitting the homework and the project on time without throwing deadlines away. So that's why that's why when you're saying that we have a problem in finding a talent, we have a problem in finding this, that. So my question to the industry would be, did you ever look at the person's GPA? Like, or how are you going to assess the talent of that person? If you have some other ways how to assess the talent, like hire 100 people, give them 1 month of internship, at the end give them a task to do. If 30 of them did that, hire them. If 70 of them failed, just do this process again and again and again. So this means that I kind of think that this is pretty much straightforward. We don't need an IQ test. We don't need to invent something very complicated and complex here to understand who can be a good specialist and who not.
I'm going to ask Narina to confirm some of the points made, but also my question is going to be follow up there. I think there's for example, in the United States, there's always this difference that universities are put into. There is innovative university, and there is university that brings out people in the workforce. And this innovative universities focus on making you creative and not just bringing out one constant kind of result. My question is, do we really need to mainly focus on GPA? Is that what really industry is looking for? Anyone can answer, actually.
I liked how Abed mentioned that GPA shows the ability to do something you don't like to do. Yeah, I agree with that point, but let me say some counter facts about it. I think sometimes GPAs will not show how of what is able to do the student. Yeah, because. GPA, yeah, shows how responsible he or she was during the study life. But what we actually need is creativity and problem-solving skills and critical thinking. And sometimes we during the interviews give logical problems to see how the candidate is thinking, the way he is thinking. Yeah. So I can say that maybe we can combine that GPA, yeah, with other processes.
After you.
I also have an argument against GPA because it is applicable for AUA, but it is not comparable to other universities. And unfortunately, currently the BA classes are not full because the students go to the industry, they work, and they only show when there is an exam or anything like that. So they are not studying mostly, and I don't know that GPA is correctly showing their all abilities and knowledge.
Actually, for me, it will be literally ideally if someone will look at my GPA. No, probably because I think like so many people that don't even put their GPA in their resumes and CVs, and I think it's probably drawback because they don't know whether you are a good student, bad student, or whether you are a student at all. Because maybe you failed like after like
You
third.
ask for certificates.
You asked the diploma, but
Diplomas,
yeah, okay. Probably it's after getting the job, like not during the initial process. Maybe I'm wrong, but for me it will be very very important to emphasize importance of education because I love to study. I love to be in like in universities here in AUA in Yerevan State University, and for me it's kind of very very painful. But I study like very well with honors, like they say, like very high GPA, like probably with the. Like my score is like the one of the to be in top 5, and no one will pay attention to that. It's kind of a reverse of stimulus, like how to play, like reverse in stimulus. So it means someone who is not studying at all, someone who studies like in the middle level, and someone who studies really well. Like for industry, we are all equal because probably they don't know even the information whether some of us has done a lot in university at all or not. But probably I have one feeling why they don't pay to GPA. Probably because they don't value that much education. They feel like if you come from this university, it's okay. It doesn't matter. So whether you come from the medicine university, from YSU, from another university, probably for industry we're all equal, and it doesn't matter whether we have high GPA or low GPA. And for me, it's very very painful topic. So, but because education is kind of the is necessary part of being starting career not only in data science but in everywhere. So for me, it kind of would be ideally if they look for GPA. But I do understand why they don't look for GPA. Probably because they don't value not education, not the sounded bad way. They don't value probably the higher education system, which is very bad thing because our university programs, our like lectures, they are truly awesome, and of course we need kind of some changes maybe, but they are truly professionals, and not to value their work and not to value the work that students do. It's kind of a little bit disadvantage or painful topic probably even for the students who wants to start a career.
Yeah, sure.
So we are data scientists, right? When I say GPA is a good predictor for someone's success, I don't mean that you cannot find few cases when someone had 4 GPA and failed at work, or few cases when someone had zero GPA and became a billionaire, right? I mean, we are talking about the averages, right? What would be when your company is trying to hire 100 data scientists, 200 or 300 people there? And also, yeah, and what I'm saying here is that the industry needs to start, and GPA is not the only predictor of someone's success, right? So that's what I want to say. In my opinion, in a junior level, when someone is in a junior level, is going to be the best predictor, is going to be the number one predictor, but it's not the only one. What happens next on the mid level, on senior level, on when the person is getting into the leadership positions, now that is a sole responsibility of the industry. It's like in the West when someone becomes 18 years old. Now he's out of the house. Now he's in the university. What happens with this person now is the responsibility of the society and university. When he graduates from the university, now enters the workforce. Now it's the responsibility of the industry and so on. Now, and the last thing I would like to add is that so far we were having a growing market. So far, we are having a growing market in IT and growing market in data science. Now, trust me, making money in a growing market is super easy stuff, right? The demand is going up, the supply is lagging behind, and now there is a crisis. Definitely, there is a crisis. It's okay, our IT companies will blame it on the exchange rate and so on, but in general, we are going to have a crisis, and surviving in the crisis is going to ask for a very different kind of skills from both junior level people and from others as well.
I see. Anusha, I'm going to ask something to you as in the aspect of researchers or building Armenia with strong research professionals. Naina and Alisa mentioned skills like leadership or creativity that are very important, let's say in the industry or getting a job. Is that something that's also important when it comes to becoming a researcher, being in the field of research? Or what are those skills that, let's say, you traditionally don't get in education that are important?
For the researcher, the main skills is to do the research, the qualified research, which is unfortunately is not well taught at the universities. And under this course, a lot of different kind of things happen at the universities. And finally, at the MA level, it's not about the governmental universities like AURAO, it's mostly to the state universities that going to the MA level, the students do not know how to do the research. What is it? So it is one of the main things, and it's very helpful to have this course integrated into the different kind of courses and to have this project-based learning that nurtures a different kind of skills, like you mentioned, leadership and lifelong learning is, yes, the most important things in science and in tech-related fields as it is developing every day.
How about question to you now? It seems like the conversation comes into education, and my question is it possible to build in softer skills into the education system? I know you said you're not doing essentially I think the thinking has been done and you are doing more of the everyday operations. But is there a possibility to modify or add to the current education?
Skills.
Not only leadership that seems to be the same every year going and is not really changing as the market is changing or research is changing, or is it possible to create clusters, research skills for researchers, skills for industry, skills for some other aspect? Is that a possibility, or do you see value in that?
Well, our students, they learn soft skills. They have a great negotiation skills every time when it comes to the deadline for the homework. Now, so yeah, I mean, writing skills, or negotiating the deadlines, trying to cancel the exams and so on. Talking about the research, right? Now, if you want to have research in Armenia, we need to have a really big scale. And I'm not sure if we can have this scale because we have a very big constraint here in Armenia. You know what's the constraint?
No, I would like to know.
Number of the population, right? Because if you look at American universities, and if you look abroad, like in Western universities, there is a professor. This professor has maybe 100 PhD students around who are, working for a very small fee, doing some research and so on. And out of these 100, maybe only 10 or 15 will ever, I don't know, publish an article, and out of these 15 or 20, maybe only 3 or 4 will do a PhD, and only one will end up as a scientist. So I'm not sure if we can get this, if we are will able to get into these scales at all, right? So I mean, the bachelor program, we teach bachelor students some research skills because they are doing their projects, they are doing their homework and so on. But please don't forget, these are like 18 years old kids. They just came out from their family. They finally got some independence, right? Finally. And now going and telling this 18 years old kid that for the next 4 years, the only thing in your life that you are going to do is to study, 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 and study, and study again, do research, study. This will not work. Now, research is going to be something that will come after the bachelor's, right? When you are getting into the master's degree. Now, here is when we are going to teach the students what the research actually means, and there they are going to have an actual class course that will be about the research methods. And if they'll be interested in research, then they can go next to the PhD program and then to the postdoc and so on. But waiting at scale, I mean, maybe because when you are having like 60 graduates from the bachelor's degree, you'll always find there 5 or 10 or 15 that will be good in research. And this can be just because of some random chance, not because the program did it and so on. So expecting that bachelor's graduate or someone who is just on his, I don't know, junior year will come with the research skills, there might be, but don't expect that those are going to be many of them.
I agree with the point of our population. That's definitely a problem. I have two more questions for one Anush and one Narine, and then I'm going to give an opportunity for people to ask their questions. But Anush, I'm wondering if it's actually possible to instill love for research in students, even if it doesn't have to be said that you're going to do research and it's cool, but is there a way we can move Armenia to be more interested in research, or any strategies on this end? Because you're working on that and you're trying to build that.
For sure, research to build this research, there should be an ecosystem built around it. It's not only that you sit and do the research, but you also need to understand where it should be applied, who will be the user, where you can compete. So everything should be developed around it, so the people understand the future of where they are going to. So. Currently, we are trying to develop different kinds of programs that the students can get involved and learn what is it, and also make connections with the internationals. As Abed said, Armenia is very small, and here the human resources are very small, and you cannot compete a lot. And that's why we are bridging a lot of international universities with Armenians, and a lot of PIs bringing from international to show what is this qualified and competitive research in the world.
Can I add one more thing? And one of the reasons that we don't have research, it's not the only reason, but one of the reasons that we don't have that much of research and will never maybe have it is, again, the industry. The industry that is offering a very, very high compensation for the position. If academia will never be able to compete with the industry with their salaries, right? So, but now this joint is becoming higher and higher, right? And so, I mean,
This
Yeah,
balancing,
this balance.
and people going to short-term economy stability for them.
I
Yeah,
see.
you're right.
I was going to. I really like that point. I wish I can talk to you later about that. It seems like it's a longer discussion. But Narine, Habet had one other point, and it was can't companies take in, let's say, 100 or let's say 10 data scientists who just graduated into your company to train for 3 months and then pick a good one? Why isn't that being done currently? Or is there thought to do something like that to build a stronger data science ecosystem?
Actually, we don't have experience with such approach. I think several factors can limit this. For example, employers that should teach those practitioners, the time resource is very important here. Do they have that or not? To teach 10 interns at once, yeah. Also physical resources. For example, company can don't cannot have so much space to bring 10 or I don't know more scientists. Um, and also, I think financial sector that can limit this. Yeah. Because now industry, yeah, is in crisis, and maybe interest don't demand high salaries, or they don't want to get paid high, but I think limitations are exist. Um, it's as it's my last chance. I want to add several things. I think that it is very data science is very popular and attractive of salaries, or I don't know this part, but do students are they really ready to go in that path to express curiosity, interest, and build networking, for example, because in the process of hiring, referrals play huge roles, and you should be active in building relationships, or relationships with senior or level specialists, and because it brings the reliability. Yeah. Uh, so that.
One question to you. How would you recommend people to build relationships in Armenia with data scientists working in companies?
To participate in camps or such events in that way. Yeah.
And then talk to you or LinkedIn. Is that a good option?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everything works.
Probably one thing that probably Lilith was asking. When you say we hire 10 like junior internships, when we say don't have time to learn, you don't expect your employee to learn to teach you that what is data science, to teach algorithms. You are expected to know like most of them when you come from the university. What you expect your first like internship to work on like some kind of project, to have like the senior data scientist when you don't know how to build like the entire pipeline, to ask them. So you don't expect, for me what's very painful and very hard to find, not you don't expect them to teach like the algorithms or like the math side. You don't expect them to teach the pure data science. You expect them to give you some projects, some tasks, where you expect them to have someone who will answer your questions. And probably for me, that's an internship, and I don't think it's really time consuming. Maybe expensive, or maybe some money spendings. I don't know the business, but for me, it would be really great that the industry will be more open to to answer questions, not just to give products, but also to answer the questions.
I'm gonna ask one question, and then I'm gonna give and this is a question to you guys. Whoever is an aspiring data scientist, if you were offered a free internship, you don't get paid in Armenia today at any company for data science, would you take it? If you would, raise your hand. Okay. I see. Okay, great. I hope this answered a little bit questions. If you have any more questions, please do. We have, I think, 10 minutes. If you have questions, raise your hands. Okay.
Probably without the mic you can talk because
Okay.
the mic probably doesn't work. Just a bit louder.
My question is mostly to Hamad and Manish, I guess, because I will ask about the problem of scale that you mentioned. I want to understand, don't you think that it's about more quality of education covered by this problem of scale? Because, when we're asking of graduate students whether you are going to do your masters, they are answering yes, but not in Armenia. And if we think in this way, we would say that people like the countries with population 3 million, 5 million, they won't have the good researchers and so on. And maybe if we think in this way, we can work, we don't have this excuse of problem of scale and we work on quality of education. We can also export our education at least in regional level for some kind of professions. And I want to understand, don't you think that this is the problem of our quality of PhD and masters in Armenia and not that there are only 3 million?
And one of you.
Yes, you are right. It comes from a lot. It roots to education a lot, starting from school level, as I mentioned before. And for AI, I mostly researched on AI education a lot, and this AI shortage is not only in Armenia, it's overall worldwide. And to mention that in the worldwide scale, there are a lot of educational programs in AI starting from elementary school even. So the world is, especially the big competing countries, USA and China, have a lot of 3 million graduates every year, so we are not going to compete with them, with our populations and graduates. But yes, it's primarily roots to education quality, and unfortunately we do not have a PhD in AI, so it's also one of the shortages. That's why the people do not go into the research path as well.
Now we are live, right?
Yes.
And it's recording. So just in front of the camera, I'll tell you the following. If you have a choice to do your master's at AUA or to do it at MIT, go to MIT. This doesn't mean that AUA is giving bad education or the quality is lower. It just means that there is one MIT in the world, right? So even if we try hard for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we might not be able to get that MIT here locally. So this means that there is nothing bad in the fact that a lot of Armenian students are doing their masters abroad, because most of them are coming back. Most of them are coming back. They are becoming instructors here at AUA. They are teaching here at AUA. So we have that experience as well. So there's always going to be something like that, right? So whatever you do, there is always going to be a university that's going to be better than yours.
One short mention, overall the education system is not meeting the needs in the worldwide, the needs of the industry. This long term that you go to school, then university through PhD is not the one that the current society needs. If we go to the reimagining education system, like to the short term, why students do not go to the universities instead of going to short term courses or take some online courses, is showing that this long pipeline is not in line with the high speed of development of the industry. That's why these two are not going in line, and it is not only in Armenia.
Okay, so sadly we don't have time to ask any more questions. If you have any, come speak with us after outside, but this room is now not reserved for this talk anymore. Thank you for coming, everyone. And thank you for speaking, all of you.